Yo, what's up guys? Brennen here bringing you a brand new Season 14 Fiora video. We're going to be going over runes and builds for Fiora, so let's just jump right into it. So let's try to make this as simple to understand as possible, and we'll try to make it quick and just kind of run through it. So obviously there's 4 runes that are good on Fiora. The big one here is just going to be Conquer. Straight up Conquer, one of the best runes on Fiora, obviously stacking AD. She loves flat AD. Flat AD is going to increase vital damage, and it's super great for Fiora overall. So Conquer, we take Presence of Mind to take care of Fiora's mana issues. So we always take Presence of Mind. It's much better than Triumph or Overheal. This is just something we take every time, regardless if you're going PTA or whatever it may be. For your Legend, Alacrity is typically going to be the go-to. I mean, Bloodline's really weak. Nasty's not that great either, so Alacrity is going to be your go-to as well. Last Stand is really great. It's good for baiting out the enemy when you're low health. You could have Parry Up or something like that and be able to go for an all-in, use Parry, and then hit all 4 vitals, do the extra damage, and that's great. So this is typically, these 3 right here are always going to be the same, no matter what the other keystone is. So when it comes down to our secondary runes, I usually like Resolve. So I take Second Wind when I go Doran's Shield, and then I take Bone Plating when I'm going to go Doran's Blade. You can also replace it with Demolish if you would like. I think Demolish is good. I think Second Wind, and I think Bone Plating. And then I also think that Revitalize is really good. So this is 14-2 where Unflinching has changed. It's a little bit weaker now. You gain 2 to 10 level scaling armor and magic resist when crowd control. But if you get stunned, those 2 seconds after when you're stunned, you're gonna die anyways, or you're gonna probably just run away. I think this is really bad. I think Unflinching, they changed it, now it's not very good. I mean, we're talking about 2 to 10 armor and I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's worth it anymore. I don't think it's good. So instead we go Revitalize. So with Eclipse being much more popular, Eclipse is a shield, so we can get the shield power from that. And if you're not going to go Eclipse that game, you can just trade out Revitalize and get Demolish instead. But if you are going to go something like Eclipse and Ravenous, very important to take Revitalize, very strong. So these runes have been changed as well down here. So I really like Adaptive Force because I go Alacrity, so I already get the extra attack speed, 2% move speed permanently. This scales off Fiora's ulti, her vitals, everything about it. And Fiora loves movement speed. She loves movement speed, so this is very important. I like move speed a lot. And when it comes down to the last one here, we've got 65 HP to Nasty slow resist, which is basically just Unflinching, by the way, right here. And then health scaling. I think health scaling is much better. This 65 flat just gets outscaled at level 7. I mean, that's like, what, 6 minutes into the game, 7 minutes into the game, it's already outscaled, so I don't think this is really worth it. So this is going to be like your typical Conquer build path. There are a couple others. You could go Inspiration and take like Boots and Biscuits. That's an option, but it is a little bit more greedy, and it's kind of like ego checking your enemy. If you don't take any defensive runes at all, you're basically saying that you're better than them. There's also the option of going Sorcery, where once again, this is kind of ego, but it does work. You can go Transcendence if you're taking Ignite. You can go Nimbus Cloak. You can go Gathering Storm, especially in lower elos like Gold and below, where the games go for 40 minutes. If you're going to get an extra 50 AD at 40 minutes, I mean, this is huge. So it kind of depends. I think that this works better in lower elos, and then as you climb, you really want to go Resolve so that you don't get punished early. Now, what's going to change, so those secondary runes we saw, when it comes to precision, the precision tree line are all going to be fine. Like you could go Conquer and then go switch to PTA, and you could still take these runes. You could still go Inspiration with Biscuits and Boots. You could still take Sorcery and lower elos and go Transcendence, Gathering Storm, or Transcendence and Nimbus Cloak. You can still do all that. But if you are going to go PTA, preferably you're going to take Resolve again because you're going to be fighting. So Conquer's more of that all-in play style, much better against tanks. If the enemy has a lot of tanky champions, going to be very good. PTA is going to be basically something that you'll run into enemy if you really need that extra power, that extra 1v1 power. So think of Conquer more as a solid overall power boost, and think of Press the Attack as more of a 1v1 power boost. So I've been really liking this into Riven. I think that's a good lane, like Jace. Any lanes where you really need that extra damage to go for a kill. Even range laners, like I've been taking this into Vayne as well. If somebody plays Vayne top, Press the Attack is really good and it's starting to get a lot more popular on Fiora, so I definitely recommend trying it out. I mean, all you're trying to do is, it's a little bit different, right? You're going in, you're trying to get those 4 or 5 input trades and then back away, and it's not as much of an all-in play style. It's kind of like big boom, big burst damage in 1v1. So it doesn't scale as well into the later stages of the game, so you really are using this to get an early lead. You could pair this with Ignite and it's really good, so just something to think about. Now, there is a new rune that's coming across the horizon because of Grasp being a little bit weaker. It's Fleet Footwork. So Fleet Footwork kind of bounces with your vitals. It's like when it's fully stacked and you hit a vital, not only do you get the movement speed from the vital and the healing, but you get the healing and movement speed from Fleet Footwork as well, which is super OP and really awesome. I've actually been running Fleet Footwork into Tryndamere, and it's been great because it's really hard for him to trade back with you. Anybody who's a melee who is like a genuine melee who can't, doesn't have any ranged abilities or anything like that, this is really good. This is really good, and it helps you kind of run laps, run circles around your enemy, and also chunk them down down. It's almost like a precision tree line grasp, essentially. And this is becoming a little bit more popular. I'm seeing other Fiora players take it here and there, but this is still in testing. Give it a try. I would say the best lane to give it a try into is Tryndamere, and then you could see if you like it or not. Now, when we go to the grass page, so grass has been a little bit weaker. Grass has been much weaker in this season because Triforce has been underwhelming. We lost Divine Sunder, but you can still take grasp. It's still that poke and sustain playstyle. It's really hard to play against. So we've got grasp, which will allow us to take Demolish, which is great, and then we can go Bone Plating or Second Wind and then Revitalize. And then when we take this secondary tree, most likely you're going to go Inspiration because you want that free boots because you're playing the laning phase a little bit safe. You're taking grasp if you're uncomfortable in the laning phase, or if you feel like you really need that help, that little bit of sustain to keep you alive so you don't int. That's what grasp is kind of meant for. So instead of adaptive force, we'll switch it to attack speed since we don't have legend alacrity. So we'll go attack speed with the move speed, scaling HP, and then this is what it would look like for the grass page. Now you can switch to precision if you would like and go alacrity and presence of mind like this, but I much prefer the inspiration tree line just because I think that boots are really OP for the free 300 gold. And then you also get 10% increased move speed once you get the boots as well. And like I said earlier, Fiora loves move speed. So those are the 4 big keystones, the runes that you would take on Fiora. And now we're going to look at some items here. So I've got some already set aside that we can look at. So these are going to be just some core builds, some things that I've been building that I think are really good. Now, obviously, we've got the Eclipse Ravenous Triforce. That's a classic Eclipse Ravenous and Sterix. And keep in mind, there is no 4th and 5th item because 4th and 5th items are going to be more situational for each game. So, you know, if you need heal cut, you're going to get heal cut. If you need armor, you might go Death Stance here in the 4th item slot and then GA. But you guys get the picture. This is just like your first 3. This is your core build. So we got Eclipse Ravenous Tri, Eclipse Ravenous Sterix, Eclipse Ravenous Death Stance into heavy AD comps, and then Eclipse Ravenous Jack Show. Jack Show is actually really great into enemy that doesn't have a lot of burst. So if the damage that they're putting out is more drawn out and a little bit slower, Jack Show will keep you alive, and you're going to have that extra shielding, the extra healing from Revitalize as well. You're going to be really strong and actually extremely tanky. It might be low HP, but you're not really going to take that much damage. So, and keep in mind as well, you can actually trade out Ravenous for Titanic. Any of these builds, you can move this around. You know, you can take Ravenous first and then Eclipse, but these 2 items should be first, the Hydra item and the Eclipse. You can do it like this. We could even add Titanic in there if we wanted to right here, and we could just get rid of this, you know, boom, and then we can have this build, Eclipse, Titanic, Sterix. So there's a little bit of play here when it comes to these core builds with Eclipse, and then we'll move down into like the grass builds. So these are going to be more of your Conquer PTA builds, basically. These are your Conquer PTA when you're going Ravenous and Eclipse together. Bigger damage, much stronger. You get that flat 70 AD from Eclipse for only 2,800 gold, along with 70 AD from Ravenous as well. And by the way, I know that this item is going to be getting nerfed in the coming patch, but I've already looked at the nerf, and the nerf is not big enough for it to matter. And they might even take that nerf away, I heard too. So we'll see. This item might not get nerfed. Regardless if it does or not, what I saw, it doesn't matter. They're changing like the damage that it does from 8% to 6%. That's not even why Fiora buys it. Fiora likes the shield, she likes the attack damage, and she likes the ability haste, and it's for the cheap price of 2,800 gold, which makes Eclipse so OP for Fiora. Now we'll move down into some grass builds. So this is going to be more tanky, more bruiser-like builds, and this is where Triforce is a little bit underwhelming, so it does make these builds feel a little bit weaker, but if you are going grasp, I definitely recommend trying these out. So we can go Triforce Titanic into Hullbreaker. You could even go Triforce Ravenous into Hullbreaker. And then obviously, like I said, these Hydras you can switch in and out. I do prefer Ravenous, but I think Titanic is actually in a good spot right now. But like I said, I really think Ravenous is the better of the 2, but I do think Titanic is an option. It is an option. Then we got Triforce, Ravenous, Sundered Sky, Triforce, Titanic, Sterix, super tanky bruiser build, especially with especially if you're going grass. So this is really nice. And then I do want to say that Bork is still an option. I do think that Bork is an item that you can still purchase. So we do have Bork into Triforce into Ravenous, give us that extra lifesteal with both of these lifesteal items. You could even just go full glass cannon, get rid of the Triforce and go Bork, Eclipse, Ravenous if you wanted to. I also want to show off some of the tank items that are actually good on Fiora. So Iceborne Gauntlet into full AD. It has the sheen to it for the Spellblade passive, which is really nice. And then it's cheap too, 2,600 gold. We got Frozen Heart, which is really great into like champions like Tryndamere, Aurelia, anybody who is relying on attack speed. We've got Jack Show, we got GA, we got Randuin's. These would probably be your only tank items that you would ever build on Fiora, these ones right here. And these are really great. I do want to mention that obviously Stridebreaker is getting changed to a Tiamat item, which might make it really good. We'll have to see. We really have to play around with it a little bit. I mean, Stridebreaker, if we were going to go Stridebreaker and it becomes a Tiamat item, you know, you would rush Stridebreaker. You would probably get Eclipse as well, because this is going to be your Tiamat item, and then you would just go flow into your third item that, you know, Triforce, Sterix, Def Stance, Jack Show, or Maul. Maul is an option as well. So just something to think about. This would be really good into range laners. It'd be something that you would use PTA with. And then we also have Black Cleaver, which is really nice if we want to go super tanky and go for that extra move speed that it gives you too. So you could even go something like this, where we take Cleaver in there, and then, you know, against like a Malphite or something, this item is pretty great. But this is another build option as well. Black Cleaver a little bit more rare. Spear of Shojin a little bit weaker than I would have hoped it would be this season. I do think there is some games where Spear of Shojin might be good when you need that big ability haste, and it's probably going to be more in the tanky side of things. I don't know if you would really use it for your Conqueror build. I think there's better items in the Conqueror build, but as a grass path, I think you could definitely pull this item and use it somewhere in the grass build path. So these are the builds that I've been using. These are the items that I've been using, and those are the runes that I've been using. So hopefully this video was super simple to understand, and it helps you guys out with your climbs. So all right, guys, that's the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys loved it. Hopefully this video also helps you guys with your choosing your runes and your builds in season 14, and hopefully you guys get some LP and continue with your climb. So good luck out there. Thank you again. Until next time, peace out. Love ya. Bye bye.